Good morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. We've been having a lot of fun talking about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrency, ICOs, initial coin offerings, all this new terminology that we're using with regard to this space, and the safety part of it as far as investing. As I mentioned, I get called all the time regarding, what about this Bitcoin, Hank? Is this a good thing to invest in? And to me, again, as with anything regarding that, that's very highly speculative, where the values are going to be, fluctuating so much. We're talking about a stock market as an example in comparison, where we've had a lot of volatility this year, starting basically around, I think, second, third week in January that started, and we've seen tremendous swings, especially initially in that first month or so after that, and it's still very volatile. But relative to Bitcoin, it's like a whole new universe. I mean, we're talking about drops maybe for the stock market. If you see a 3% drop in a day, that's considered huge, right? Well, imagine then a 20 or 30% drop. How crazy that is. So when it comes to your retirement, this is what I mainly want to stress on this piece, at least, is that when it comes to your retirement nest egg, when it comes to your, the money that you're going to need to take care of yourself when you retire, that money you don't want to be playing around with. You want to stay relatively safe there with proven strategies that are going to be stable, that are going to help, not only protect the money, but, grow the money, stay ahead of inflation. But again, where you're not going to have to worry about tremendous volatility, especially when you get to a point where you start needing to take money out. That's where volatility can really be your enemy and can cause you, if you're taking money out of a portfolio and you go through a tremendous bear market as an example, it can be the difference between recovering and not recovering, back to your original investment. There's been a number of things I've talked to you about on the show with that. What you want to be thinking in terms of, and this is where planning is so important, and you know what, I forgot to do this, so we're going to get it out there. One of the things when it comes to planning is that we're looking at in the initial, 5 years before retirement to the 5 years after retirement. That's the time when you're most at risk with regard to bear markets and speculative investments of any kind. So you definitely want to, again, the nest egg is to keep it stable and growing. The speculative things, save for the fun money that you've got that you can afford to lose and write it off to a good time or something. When it comes to your investing, though, for your retirement, one of the things there, a good plan is one that's going to take into consideration that volatility in that first 5 years before and 5 years after. We smooth that out with planning. We can set up an investment strategy. We may, for instance, ladder up a portfolio, do a conservative portfolio for the money you're going to need in the short term, and then a more moderate to growth portfolio of monies that can be left alone and in the market for a time. And again, we're talking about highly diversified portfolios at the same time. Asset allocation, again, being also key. We've got 60 years of academic, Nobel Prize winning academic research showing us how to construct a portfolio with tremendous amounts of backtesting, and again, safety in mind, stability in mind, how to smooth out the volatility and still get the returns you need. All right, for the first 10 callers to my office today, 615-376-5325. Tessa's standing by. She'll get your information. If you'd like to get a free retirement income analysis, which includes an investment analysis, and yes, you can ask any questions you want, but again, it's a plan. We're going to, whether it's 1 visit, 2 visits, 3 visits, whatever it takes, I want to put a plan in your place. This is one of those areas where when you come in, I'm going to show you your financial future based on the things you're doing now, show you different strategies that will help you improve upon that, and who knows, maybe you'll become a client. That's why we do this. We want to show you what we can do for you and show you how we can improve your situation and how you can attain and maintain your standard living, quality of life, no matter how long you live. So that's going to be tax planning, estate planning, all of that included in this retirement income analysis. So again, first 10 callers, 615-376-5325. And when you call the office, Tess will get your information, send you out a little packet, a checklist of things to bring to your appointment with me. And when you come in to see me, I'll give you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. All right, no Bitcoin questions in there. But there are in here today. We've got Frank Borger-Gilligan. He is the Assistant Commissioner of Tennessee Securities Division here with us helping today. And Frank, one of those areas we're talking about the activities and the scams and those kind of things. So again, the legitimate's risky enough, but this part is even more so. And I guess millennials are the ones that are mainly targeted?
They are. Millennials are actually the second only to baby boomers in terms of the demographics of victims of fraud. Okay. And especially in this arena, in the cryptocurrency arena, millennials are targeted in huge numbers.
Right.
One of the things that's really concerns me as a regulator is I read a study that 22% of people who are investing in cryptocurrency are using borrowed money to do so. So we've heard of people using credit cards, right. Students using their student loans to purchase, even refinancing a mortgage. So generally not a good idea.
No, never borrowing to invest is never a good idea. You don't want to, even in a legitimate investment, you don't want to be borrowing money to go out and invest, for instance, in this hot new stock tip or something you might, and much the same. The millennials also, there's a certain trust factor there, right?
Yeah, you know, millennials grew up with technology. They're you know, it's just from birth. They you know, they've got an iPad in their hands, or and are, you know, trust technology. Trust technology probably a lot more than they trust the government, which is one of the reasons they, you know, they're attracted to. And
that's what. So when they see something like this, they're believing basically, oh yes, this is going to work this way.
Yes.
And they're probably quite. So from that standpoint, it's almost like being a bit naive about these things, that there are these bad players out there, I guess.
I think that's true. I think there's a lot of that, and you know, and we're in a good market right now. You know, things are going well economically, and hopefully not anytime soon, but you know, that will change. And you know, I think that's going to be the point where, you know, they're maybe looking to regulate in this area. You know, we'll see. But I think that it's the combination of this new exciting technology and things that are going fairly well.
And that's the other part. I mean, people are looking. They're looking at this and saying, "Oh, I don't want to miss out." You know, this has been. We've seen this, like when Bitcoin was going up with great leaps and bounds, and people were jumping in, not understanding necessarily just, wow, that's going up, I'm going to get in. I'm going to hopefully, you know, make a lot of money as well. And that's that part of almost a get-rich-quick type of mentality that, oh, I don't want to miss out. This is going to, you know, this could make me wealthy, you know, in a year's time or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, and that's where the scam artists come in.
They love to play on it.
They do. Yeah, they do. You know.
This is an area where, again, when these promises that play into that type of greed that we have, of wanting to, you know, turn in multiples on our money with little or no effort to speak of. Here, I'll just put this in there, and all of a sudden I'll be driving a Rolls Royce or something crazy, right?
Yeah, and you know, that is a factor. Yeah, I mean, greed is a huge factor.
And scam artists love to play on that.
Absolutely.
This is those areas where oh, you just, you know, while we see that with these mail fraud and emails and all that, the same kind of thing. You just won $1 million, whatever, African prince or something left you with these monies, all those kind of things. This kind of thing they're playing on, using some legitimate things such as, you know, Bitcoin as an example, and saying, you know, you can have this. In fact, I think you mentioned one was Bitcoin with 2 eyes.
With 2 eyes, yeah. Yeah, that's an example of a promoter or an ICO that is looking to basically deceive the investor into thinking they're investing in Bitcoin or you know, one of the more well-known cryptocurrencies, when in fact they're not. And you know, that's. You don't always understand that unless you look carefully. In the case of the Bitcoin with 2 eyes, there was an advertisement on the radio for investing in, you can get in on Bitcoin if you missed it the first time at $5 a share, which, you know, what's $8,200 a share now. And you go through the entire ad, and it's not until the very end where they say that's Bitcoin with 2 eyes. So, you know.
That one, yes.
Yeah.
Whole different thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things, and this is another area, IRAs is an area where it's similar kind of thing. You can see advertisements out there for IRAs. I'm going to share a story, Frank, and then have you talk on the cryptocurrency thing, but I've seen this with precious metals as well. And I mean, it may be legitimate as far as being legal to a certain degree, but seeing problems with it. I remember some years ago, a lady coming into my office, and we're doing, for initial consultation. I'm going over it, and she had just heard a radio advertisement about you can, buy gold with your IRA. Mm-hmm. And so she called the number, and it was an outfit out in California, I believe. And they yes, you're going to get this precious. It's not you're buying gold; you're buying gold coins. They're going to go into and you use your IRA money. So they set up a self-directed IRA for her to do that. They do all this paperwork. She just signs, sends it back in, and they transfer her money over. Then it was all that she had one IRA. Everything went in. And then guess what? She's 70 and a half, or she was actually in her mid-70s. So comes time to take a required minimum distribution, and these had some really heavy upfront costs to purchase these coins. And they're talking about the numismatic value, that they're not just the gold, the precious metal piece, but the coin itself having some kind of value as well as a collectible or something. Okay. Bottom line is she was going to have to sell some of the coins to be able to take the required minimum distribution the IRS has, and at a huge loss because of all the upfront loaded costs that came into the investing. That's one of the, so if I see something like that, and we tried to, to get her money back and turn it over to the regulators. I don't know how it ended up working out for her, but when I see these cryptocurrencies and talking about IRAs, I see even more potential danger there.
Yeah, and we're aware of a few self-directed IRAs that are calling themselves some form of like a Bitcoin IRA or a cryptocurrency IRA, which simply allows them to purchase the coins from their IRA accounts. We haven't received any complaints at this point regarding those. But I imagine that will be something at some point for us to look at.
One of the things to watch for, and just like when I was relating the story about the lady that came in, and I know the difficulty when you're crossing state lines is one of those areas, and of course if you're in a decentralized, I don't even know, you don't even have a place to necessarily chase, not sure how that's going to work out. But on IRAs, be very, very careful. This isn't money that you want to, thinking in terms of the long-term issues that come with an IRA, such as required minimum distributions at 70 and a half, you have to start taking money out. You need to have something that whatever that IRA is invested in has to be liquid enough to be able to allow you to do so. There's a lot of self-directed IRAs that can get in trouble that way, whether it's holding real estate or in this, as I mentioned, with precious metal. And we'll talk a little bit about the cryptocurrency and IRA bit when we come back and see how that plays in. So again, if you're seeing these advertisements, if you're hearing something on the radio, if you're, something comes in the mail, again, be very careful when it comes to your IRAs, even more so, because you can lose there. Unfortunately, I'll share some other really horrible stories about people that have unfortunately got burned when it comes to their IRA money, and how you need to really be especially careful when it comes to that. And especially today, when most of the people that are retiring, most of that's in that is 401ks they build up, or IRAs in retirement accounts, and you need to understand how those rules work to protect yourself, right? So we're going to talk about that more. Join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.
Are you